tips for you is start posting consistently, minimum 5 to 7 days. You want to post at least 3 times a day on your stories as well. Video content is absolutely essential, and start using some trending reels as well. Our content for our clients and for our Done For You social media business, just a behind the scenes, really simple video reels. They get between 20 to 40,000 views on them. Trending reels, they get from anywhere from 2,000 to 20,000 views on them as well. And it's not all about the following. It's about how many people your content is getting exposed to. The algorithm exposes your brand to way bigger audiences than just your followers. Hi everyone, welcome to the Property Management Podcast. Thank you so much for having me in your ears. Now, in this episode, I'm going to share with you a presentation I did at a recent property management conference called the PPM Conference on the Gold Coast. And I'm going to dive into the topic of exploding your digital marketing and making social media your superpower. And I love thinking of social media as a bit of a superpower because that's how I have found social media for me since I started that Property Mum. I had no audience, no one knew me from a bar of soap. And I have used social media to pretty much build an entire online business that is now creating a great income as a side hustle business for me off the back of my real estate business as well. So I want to share with you some of the easy social media hacks that I use to make sure that social media is a superpower for me and inside my online business. And you can use it too inside your real estate business or your property management business and or even if you're thinking of starting a different side hustle business, these strategies that I'm going to share with you will work for any of those businesses. So I'm going to dive straight on in and talk about this session, and it's really about how you can make a shift from struggling to post consistently. Maybe you're feeling overwhelmed, fed up and confused about what to post, when to post and how to do it, to growing your personal brand and securing new leads and exploding your business growth. I'm going to dive into how you can build trust with your content, how you can show social proof, how you can hook in potential clients with your social media. And I'm going to talk about being seen as the go-to expert property manager in your core area. And simply put, all you need to do is get started to start growing an audience and a following. You need to show up consistently to boost your personal and business brand. And once you start doing those two things, new opportunities will open up to you. But the biggest thing you need to do is overcome that fear, judgment, and confusion that's probably holding many of you back from posting on social media. If you are anything like me, you think you know your rent roll numbers. Well, I thought I did until I had a rent roll health check, and I was quite literally shocked. The money I was leaving on the table was astounding. And this is not something that I'm proud to admit. There were missed management fees, let fees, advertising, and lease renewal fees not being charged, and properties even without bonds. And all of this was happening despite monthly audits being conducted in my business. So how did I uncover all these gaps in my valuable income? Well, I had a rent roll due diligence from my good friend Tazi, aka the Rent Roll Queen and founder of the Tazi Way, a specialist in rent roll due diligence, business valuation and management rights. The Tazi Way is the innovative force driving the real estate industry. With 25 years of business and real estate acumen, they find gaps and risks in your agency to find undiscovered value. If you'd like to book your business in for a rent roll due diligence, head to the link in the show notes and mention that Property Mum for a 10% discount. Now, let me share a little story with you. 21 years ago, I vowed never to speak on stage again. I had the worst public speaking experience ever. I'd lost my confidence, my drive, and my purpose, and I was ashamed and felt like I wasn't good at anything. In my former life as a television sports presenter, I was the MC and host of many events, and the biggest one yet was the New South Wales Surf Lifesaving Awards Night. There were thousands of people in the ballroom of a fancy hotel in Sydney. And there was one family that seemed to win every single award, and their name was really hard to pronounce. It was something like Van Kimpema. I'll never forget it. It's etched into my nightmares. And I stuffed it up every single time. And the more I stuffed it up, the more stories I started to tell myself. You're useless. You can't do this. You're hopeless. And then I started to really panic. Have you ever felt like this? Your heart starts racing, your brain goes all foggy, and you start sweating profusely. Imagine being on stage in a bright red Q skirt, covered in sweat down to your waist. I was mortified, I was embarrassed, and I told myself, you are never doing this again. And to top it all off, a lady at the end turned to me and she said, well, at least you look good, love. And that was it. That was the one event that stopped me from putting myself out there for 21 years. No social media, no public speaking. I didn't even like speaking in front of my own team in my office. And social media can be a lot like this too. Have you ever got a negative comment? Maybe no one even commented on your post that you'd spent a lot of time putting together. Or maybe someone gave you negative feedback on a video. And my kids tell me all the time, Mom, your videos are cringe. And I bet you told yourself similar stories to mine. You can't do social media. You're not good enough. You don't know what to do. No one wants to hear from you. But they're just stories that you tell yourself to keep yourself safe. Safe from fear, safe from embarrassment, safe from the judgment of others. But the reality is they keep you stuck and they prevent you from putting yourself out there and living your best life and achieving the utmost success in your business and career. But that wasn't the only time I was challenged with these stories and the stories other people told me too. I couldn't have started my real estate business at a worse time. If you remember the 2011 floods, if you were in Queensland, they were pretty devastating. Well, I signed a 3-year lease on our first office 1 week before the floods. And it was during the floods, the water came within a metre of our office doors, but it went through our acreage home we'd just purchased a year before. Half of Ipswich and Brisbane were underwater. No one was worried about buying, selling, or renting property. And all of our family and friends were telling us, you are mad to start a business. And it was a struggle. Not only were we broke, but we also had to rebuild our home, living out of a motel for months and then a 1-bedroom granny flat after that with 6 of us. The self-doubt, the fear, it all crept back in. And I fought against the constant whispers of, you can't do this. But over time, we helped other people clean out properties, find new tenants, helped find people temporary homes, and built some connections and relationships in the community. And one of those was with a developer who had, a month before the flood, purchased the property next door to us. Talk about impeccable timing. He turned out to be a relationship, though, that created the foundations for us to be able to have 400 rentals in 4 years. And we started simply by helping others and not listening to the voices, internal and external, that were telling us to give up. And that empathy and work ethic and that hustle culture or nature served me well until it didn't. By 2018, I was well past just another burnout episode and thrown into a full-blown health crisis. I was diagnosed with a heart condition, and I've shared this before, but it's normally reserved for people way older and more unhealthy. It's called atrial fibrillation, and it's a heart arrhythmia that can lead to heart attack, stroke, and death. And I was in and out of hospitals, but it had the experts baffled as to why I was experiencing it. And the only thing they could put it down to was long-term ongoing stress. And I'm sure many of you can relate to the struggle of juggling work and home life, especially when you are so sick. So while I was recovering after an 8-hour heart surgery, lying on my back in a hospital bed, and it was during COVID, so I couldn't have anyone with me, that my mission was born. I knew that I didn't want any other business owner, property manager, or working mum for that matter, to go through what I was going through. And that's how that property mum was born. The only problem was nobody knew me. I had no audience. So I dived into personal development on social media. I read the mindset books. I listened to the podcasts online. I did digital marketing courses, and I did a video every week for a whole year. You can scroll back through my Instagram and take a look at the early ones. And at the start, it was super uncomfortable. I was afraid of judgment, and that failed public speaking event constantly replayed in my head. But I kept going, and I started testing and trying different things. And then I got consistent with what was working. And guess what? It actually really does work. I've now been able to help thousands of property managers. I've created a six-figure side hustle business, all because I embrace social media. And now I want to share some of the simple things that you can do today. Yes, you can start today to embrace social media and grow your personal and business brand. And my formula is pretty simple. It's all about having a plan, creating, scheduling, and repeating, so that you don't have to ever use time as an excuse for not posting on social media anymore. You'll have a plan and you'll have the steps to help you do that. You won't have to ever say, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to post. I don't know how to do it. You'll be getting support from someone to help and guide you every step of the way, so that you can start posting consistently. It's a long game, social media, and it's about building trust. The more consistent you are, the more brand recognition you build. And you can stop feeling like you aren't good enough to be on camera. The more you do it, the easier it honestly gets. And you can stop overthinking social media. I'm going to teach you there is an easy way to do social media. So we're going to start by learning which social platform should you be on, how to create social media content, and how to build that all-important consistency, so that you'll have organic lead generation, you'll be able to grow your personal brand and explode your business brand. So step one, like I said, it's all about that planning. And there's currently over 200 social media platforms. So how do you know which one you should be on? And some of the latest social media statistics say that there's over 21 million Australians are on social media. The average daily time spent on social media is almost 2.5 hours. Most people access social media platforms via their mobile phones. And Facebook is still the most popular social platform worldwide, followed by YouTube, WhatsApp, and Instagram. And TikTok is the fastest growing platform. So when it comes to working out which of those platforms you should be on, well, this all comes down to knowing who your ideal client is and where they're likely to be hanging out online. How do you do that? Well, you need to take a bit of a deep dive into working those ideal clients out. So who are they? What are their demographics? What sort of investors are they? Are they trades people? Are they professionals? Are they single or married with kids? And then you want to work out their why. Why are they investing? Maybe it's for wealth creation, tax purposes. Are they creating a legacy for their family, or do they simply just love property? And then you want to dive even a little bit deeper than that, and you want to go into their biggest pain points or struggles. And some of the pain points for investors that I have come up with are that they don't trust property managers, they're tired of property managers constantly changing, they're losing money, and maintenance is taking too long or costing too much. And over 20% of Australians have an investment property, and chances are most of them are searching for an investment online or a property manager online. So if you aren't online, how are they ever going to find you? Now, knowing your ideal client, that allows you to get set up on the social platforms relevant to them, and it allows you to prepare and share content that resonates with them. You can build that know, like, and trust factor. So I'd recommend just pick one or two major platforms. Maybe it's Instagram and Facebook, which is what a lot of our clients in our done for you social media use, and get started on those two platforms. And then once you've mastered them, you can add in other platforms. So how do you set up your social media platforms? Well, there's a couple of key things that every social platform page needs to have. You want to have some high quality photos. You want to have a logo. You need to have a call to action or your contact details, and a bio with who you are, what you do, and where you do it. In your bio, like I said, it should be clearly state who, what, where, and you can add the how as well if you've got room. Here's an example. Hi, I'm Kylie Walker. I help Southeast Queensland property owners and investors maximise their rental income by providing a peace of mind property management experience. Now, step 2 is all about creating that social media content. And this is where a lot of people start getting confused and overthinking it. I have a simple framework. I call it the 3 pillars of content. And all of your content comes under these 3 pillars: people, property, and personality. And according to social cue experts, content needs to have a balance of warmth and competence. Your warm content is all about it's content that resonates with people. It makes you look authentic. It provides that know and like factor. Whereas competent content, that's your social proof. You show people what you're actually doing, and that is the trust factor. So some examples of people content, which again is our warm content. It could be your family, your friends, your dogs, your cats, real life, authentic stuff, your team or your community. Your personality content, that is also warm content. That might be a motivational tile, some inspiration. It might be your story, some struggles or transformations you've had in your life. My most popular content to this day is when I share content about my struggle with stress and my heart condition. People really resonate with that. You know, I've had a deep struggle and I've come out the other side with some sort of a transformation, and that really resonates with people. And then your competence content is your property content. And that's your listings, your lease, your testimonials, your case studies, and the educational content, which might be blog. There's been so much talk of stress, overwhelm, and burnout in property management lately. Do you want to know how I overcame all of that? Yes, I hit rock bottom multiple times, but I got myself a virtual assistant. Actually, not just one, but 3. But I didn't just get any VA, I got a PMVA. What are they? Well, they are the most well-trained in the business. And not only that, you also have a backup VA. So that essentially your business is never without admin support ever again. And my health, time, and business has never looked back. Your PMVA can take care of tasks like rent arrears, lease preparation and renewals, maintenance follow-up, routine inspection bookings, data entry, audits, prospecting, inbox management, and so much more. And the best part of implementing a PMVA in my business was that it freed up my time and my team's time to take care of important things like customer service. What makes me feel so safe is that PMVA is owned by Tiffany Botel, both here and in the Philippines, making my data secure and giving me more control over the VA arrangement. So head to the link in the show notes to book in your discovery call with Lady Boss Tiff. Now let's talk about writing captions. And I have a simple formula for that as well. Remember when you were at school and you had to write an essay or an assignment and they told you to break it down into an intro, a body, and an end? Well, caption writing is very similar to that. You have a hook, which is something that is designed to capture people's attention. You have the middle, and then you have the end, which is the call to action. So let me share an example of a hook with you. Did you know a property manager can save you thousands of dollars? That's a pretty good hook. You only have a line, pretty much a sentence in your captions to capture somebody's attention. So you want to make it catchy. The middle would be a professional property manager can help you increase your rental income by saving money on wasted maintenance, achieving market rent for your property, securing qualified tenants. And then your call to action would be something like head to my website to find out more about how I help investors earn more money. Your call to action could also be, download my free guide, head to the bio and book in a call with me, or simply just leave a comment below. And just a side note here, make sure that you're always trying to drive people back to your website, not to third-party platforms like realestate.com or Domain. You own obviously your website. You want your contacts to be interacting with you on your website so that you can hopefully capture them. And it's also good for your SEO as well if you've got the more traffic you get to your website. So some of our top social media tips for you is start posting consistently, minimum 5 to 7 days. You want to post at least 3 times a day on your stories as well. Video content is absolutely essential, and start using some trending reels as well. Our content for our clients and for our Done For You social media business, just a behind the scenes, really simple video reels. They get between 20 to 40,000 views on them. Trending reels, they get from anywhere from 2,000 to 20,000 views on them as well. And it's not all about the following. It's about how many people your content is getting exposed to. And video and reels, the algorithm exposes your brand to way bigger audiences than just your followers. So forget about the following. Don't worry about that. It is all about getting eyeballs on your content. And if you want to get maximum eyeballs on there, then videos and reels are definitely the way to go. The next important thing that the algorithm loves, and I'm just continuing on with our top tips, is engagement. The more engagement your content gets, the more the algorithm thinks that people like your content and find it relevant, so it's likely to share it with more people. So when somebody comments on your post, make sure you reply with a comment back to them, and make sure that you get into the mindset of giving before you get, and start commenting and sharing other people's content as well. Another great way to get more exposure for your brand and get it shared out to larger audiences is engagement. So when people reply to a comment on your page, make sure you comment to that. The more comment and engagement on your content, the more the algorithm finds it relevant, and it will share it to way bigger audiences. Get into the mindset also of giving before receiving, and start commenting on other people's posts as well, especially if you're looking for that in return. And don't be afraid to share other people's content as well. Start thinking in terms of collaboration, not competition. Finally, step 3 is all about that scheduling and repeating. And a tip that I want to share with you is around batching your content. So I want you to think about booking one day in your calendar, and I want you to sit down and plan out all of your month's content. We often do it 3 months in advance, and you can, if you email me, kylie@thatpropertymum.com.au, I will share with you our content calendar. I will pop a link in the show notes as well. But that's a really simple and easy way to invest time one day a month in preparing all your content. Because as a property manager, if you try to sit down and do it each day, I know how busy you're going to get, and it's just never going to happen. There's some great scheduling tools that you can use after you have sat down and batched all your content. The next step is then to start scheduling it all in. There's some free ones out there, but the price you'll pay is so minimal for a great tool that is going to allow you to really make sure that you get that consistency happening with your content. So we use later.com. We recommend them. There's Hootsuite, there's Buffer, there's Meta as well. And another concept I want to introduce you to in this episode as well is repurposing your content. And there's some great AI out there artificial intelligence that can help you do this now really simply and easily. But this concept is basically you create one piece of content. Let's use a blog as an example. and then you turn that into up to 10 other pieces of content. So that blog could become a static post for your Facebook. It could become an Instagram reel. It could become a YouTube clip. It could become a podcast episode. It could become a TikTok, and it could become a newsletter on your LinkedIn as well, or a video on your LinkedIn as well. So repurposing your content really is an amazing time saver. Now, social media is not about getting clients right now. I just want you to remember that. It is the long game, and it's like a nurture campaign. Leads need to really know, like, and trust you first. And you need to build that consistency. You need to make it happen every single day and every single week. My content now for That Property Mum gets shown to around 35 to 55,000 people every single month. And that is not because I'm super smart, I'm super special, or my content is particularly creative. It's because I show up consistently, and I can't stress that enough. So what I want you to do after this episode of the Property Management Podcast, I want you to sit down and I want you to commit some time to your social media. I want you to schedule it in your calendar, and I want you to address your fear and limiting beliefs around why you aren't showing up on social media. What's stopping you showing up on social media, and do the work around those things. I want you to set an intentional goal or some intentional goals around what you want to achieve with social media. And maybe it's just to get that consistency, posting 5 times a week. I want you to look at programs to help you automate your tasks, look into some AI, look into some scheduling tools, and then most importantly, start tracking your metrics. The back end of most of your platforms will allow you to see your analytics. The reason you need to do this is because you want to create more of the content that is popular and resonating with your audience. So just a quick recap on this episode: how to make social media your superpower. We've talked about planning, we've talked about creating, and we've talked about scheduling and repeating. So imagine being on holidays, away from your phone and emails, but because you've still got your social media working for you, your business is still growing. And imagine being the go-to property manager that is getting referrals from people you don't even know because of your social media presence. And imagine having social proof that builds credibility and trust with large audiences you've never previously had access to. And this doesn't have to be a dream. We've helped hundreds of clients achieve this. You don't have to work it all out on your own. You've got the framework from someone who has walked the path before you. So thank you for showing up and investing your time in this podcast episode. By participating, you've actually demonstrated the courage to seek knowledge, grow, and thrive in your career and business. And as you apply the insights gained from this session, you're actively asking for more from life: more growth, more achievement, more fulfillment, more business growth, more income, and more lifestyle freedom. So I know your journey on social media might be just beginning, but I'm here to support you every step of the way. Property inspections, entries, exits, incomings, outgoings, routine inspections, whatever you call them, you have to do them. And I remember when I first started as a property manager, you had to handwrite the reports and take notes on a digital camera, then upload the photo memory card to your computer and hope and pray that they weren't all blurry or your computer had enough memory to store them. But gone are those days, thanks to Inspection Express. Now, Inspection Express is not only the #1 tool used by leading property managers across Australia and New Zealand, but the leader in groundbreaking new tech in the industry with the launch of 360-degree virtual tours. Now, virtual tours is upping the ante, giving landlords, owners, and directors unparalleled 360-degree virtual access to their properties. So head to the link in the show notes to book in your free demo with Inspection Express. Can I ask you a quick favour before you leave this episode? Now, we all know how important reviews are for businesses these days, and mine is no different. If you could spare just a minute to follow, rate and review this podcast, it would mean a lot to me. In fact, what would get me super excited is if you share this podcast with someone in the industry who you think might need to hear some of the episodes right now. And if you'd like to find out more about working with me or any of the products I have to help you start, grow, or scale your property management business, head to my website, thatpropertymum.com.au, or check out the links in the show notes.